Hello, this is Pierre Ethier Class XII. Today is the 4th of July 2011 and I'm in the city of Edinburgh, Scotland. So today I'm going to clear up some misconception largely introduced by the infamous Church of Scientology about what certificate cancellation actually means. According to them, you cannot do anything, you are paralyzed, you're a failure, you are nothing if you have trained and they decide to cancel your certificate. Of course, they want you to be complete effect, and that's their game. Now, the fact of the matter is that cancel certificate only means something within the Church of Scientology. In other words, the church has canceled my certificate. What absolutely means nothing to me because I still have the ability, the skills, and I was recertified by two LRH trained Class XII CSs outside the church. Now the church doesn't even have any LRH trained Class XII CSs. So therefore my certificate should be better than when I was in the church. Now, why does the church want to cancel certificates? Well, the basic thing is to avoid competition and to suppress people. Mainly suppress people. Because in the real world, not the one that is in the unrealistic bubble of Scientology, if you were, for example, to graduate from Harvard Law School or MIT, and now for some reason you decide to take them to court, are they going to disbar you, or are you going to be kicked out of the engineer corps or no longer be a scientist? Of course not. It's complete nonsense. Certificate cancellation only means something within the church. So that means if I was to present myself to the church, they won't allow me to audit the L's within the Church of Scientology or at flag. Well, that means very little to me because I have as much interest to return there as I have to turn myself into a Nazi death camp. So therefore, you can cancel all the certificate I ever had or never had or pretend I had. Incidentally, my certificates were issued by the Church of Scientology of California, so I think legally they actually may still stand. It doesn't matter because the advice from the Church of Scientology I regard about as highly as advice from the KKK, from the neo-Nazi Party of America. So now, to go back on the subject of piteousness. Now, the church wants you to feel piteous. That's some evil intent to revenge. So they want people to suffer for having spited them by leaving or disagreeing. And to understand what exactly they do, you have to look at what technically piteousness exactly means. Because, you know, it's all connected to suppressive person or group, invalidated and so forth, but there's a more technical and precise definition of piteousness that very few people seem to know. Piteousness is essentially the belief that someone or something is causing you, the piteous person, to be the effect of one or more of the following 6 things. 1, that they can successfully prevent you from having what you want to have, or they can prevent you from doing what you want to do, or they can prevent you from being what you want to be, and that they can force you to have things you don't want, force you to do things you don't want to do, and force you to be what you don't want to be. That's all piteousness is. And it's largely a consideration that one is the effect of things. So that's basically what they want you to believe. And someone once, probably from the church or pretending, because those people are so yellow, they never say their real name. And he said, I should be reported to the authorities. Now, which authorities? According to LRH himself, L. Ron Hubbard wrote in Dietic, The Modern Science of Mental Health, that the dietic profession was not to be regulated by anyone and that anyone who would do so would not do it to help people, but for personal profit and gain. Now, do we recognize an organization there? I'll let you decide. Now, the earlier chairman of the board of RTC, Vicky Asnaran, who was, in my opinion, even more suppressive than David Miscavige, which definitely takes some doing, basically tried to make people believe they could be arrested for practicing auditing without a license. There's no such thing. Some countries may have regulations about mental healing, but that's basically those countries. And because you work for an org, you're not anymore in agreement with a law that you'll be violating as independent auditor at any rate. Now, this subject of wanting people to fail, that's basically what the church tried to push on people. When I left the church, they told me, you cannot leave. People who leave the church are instant, total, complete failures. My dynamics have expanded more than I could imagine since I left the church. They say I could not be successful. I've been successful at every single thing. I have no debts whatsoever. In less than 8 years, I was able to take a mortgage on a house, and now it's free and clear. So it's possible to succeed outside the church. I will only end by adding something about the cancellation of certificate. This nonsense, of course, applies mostly also to states. So obviously someone did not unclear himself because he disagreed with the church, or you become un-OT. Of course, they will love this to be, because if you're not OT, you're effect. And if you're effect, you cannot do anything against them, and you become a complete vegetable. And unfortunately for them, that's not the way it is. Well, this is all for today. I hope I didn't keep you too long. So thank you very much for listening.